वदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वांश्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So once again, very hearty welcome to all of you for our Srimad Bhagavatam study circles. May I request devotees to open their camera if they don't mind. Oh, very nice. Yeah, other devotees can also open if it's possible. We can have all the Darshane Pavitra Karo Ei Tumhara Gud. Like this, our Vaishnav songs describes that if somebody want to be purified, generally for purification people used to go to Ganga Yamuna Snan, you know. But as far as the Vaishnavas are concerned, one need not to go even to Ganga Yamuna for getting purified. Simply by taking darshan of devotees, one can become purified. Gangara parasha hoile pashate pavan darshane povitro koro e tomara gun. Like this, the devotees by their darshan only are purified. So during COVID times, devotees have purified many people through their online darshans. And actually, what is there in the devotees which actually purifies the people when they see devotees? So actually, devotees have certain characteristics, certain symptoms. Because devotees are internally also very clean, externally also very clean. Their forehead is always marked with tilak. So as soon as somebody see them, immediately one person remembers Krishna. Like the residents of Kulinagram in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this pastime comes that the residents of Kulinagram, one village in Bengal, they asked Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, my dear Lord, who is the Vaishnava, who is the devotee? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave different answers different times. First he gave that a Vaishnava is one by seeing whom a Vaishnava is one who chants even one name of Krishna, he is a devotee. Then next year, the residents of Kulinagram again asked the question, who is the Vaishnava? Then Mahaprabhu told that not one who not only chants the holy name, but who chants the holy name constantly. He is actually a devotee. And then the third time when the residents of Kulinagram asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who is the devotee, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied that a person simply by seeing whom by simply seeing other people on their lips, the holy name of Krishna comes. Simply by seeing that person, such a person is a devotee. This means the first class devotee, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells us, that person simply by seeing whom one can start, the holy name of Krishna comes to the mind. Yeah. So this goes to show that in our advancement in Krishna consciousness, we are not only supposed to internalize and grow internally, that is there, but because we are a part of a preaching mission and we are our service to Krishna is very much related to how we present ourselves in front of others. So that's why for a devotee, both things are very important: presentation and representation. So we have to present and represent. We should always remember that I am presenting Krishna consciousness and I am representing someone. And that is why, Vaishnav etiquettes and Vaishnav lifestyle and Vaishnav standards of cleanliness and behavior is very, very important. We may not be living in a temple or a center or wherever, but we should cultivate a very regular habit, should become like a second nature to, rise up early in the morning, taking bath, wearing fresh clothes, huh? And then putting our forehead with tilak. This thing should become actually very natural and normal in everyday life. Now, because as soon as somebody is supposed to see us, they should, and especially when we are coming for Vaishnava Sangha, where we are going to see each other, each Vaishnava, the other devotees, it is very important that our face is marked with tilak, if possible wearing dhoti kurta. Even though we are at home also, what is the problem? In fact, home we should be in relaxed dress. And what is the more relaxed dress than dhoti kurta? Is it not? Traditional dress. Like I'm seeing here, Jai Krishna Prabhu has worn very beautiful tilak. He's looking a Vaishnava. Very beautiful. So that's the spirit actually. And I don't feel that any of your parents are going to object, because you are not putting some cigarette on your head. You're only putting a tilak. Krishna's tilak, Vaishnav tilak. So parents will be going to be very happy. And Praveen Prabhu is in dhoti kurta. Obviously, he's in temple. But even though you are at home generally we have seen people wear kurta pajama. So kurta is already there. Just instead of pajama, you have to wear dhoti. Like that. And in case your parents ask, hey, are you becoming too serious in spiritual life? Well, no. We are in Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan of Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi is saying, we have to make India Atmanirbhar. So the actual dress of India was dhoti kurta. And by wearing dhoti kurta, we are actually becoming Atmanirbhar, because we are rejecting all Levi's and all brands of jeans, t-shirts coming from all multinational companies outside. So dhoti kurta is the real dress of India, and we are becoming Atmanirbhar. So Narendra Modi ji is going to be very happy with us. Like this, you can tell to your parents. Yeah? Or you can say, we are in Vande Bharat Abhiyan. So point is, there are different things to be told. So what I'm saying is that as we are learning Srimad Bhagavatam, it should not remain theoretical, my dear devotees. We are not here just to discuss some theory and have 1 hour time pass. Obviously, we don't do time pass and go. The devotee culture has to be very, very deeply ingrained. You may be because the difference between a neophyte devotee and an advanced devotee is, neophyte devotee is a devotee only in temple. Also, when he is in temple, that time he will put temple all center. That time he will put tilak. That time he will wear dhoti kurta. That time he will pay obeisances to Prabhupada every morning. He will pay obeisances to Vanchakalpatarubhesha. When he is at home, he says, okay, now Prabhupada is not there, to whom to pay obeisances? Devotees are not there, to tilak nahi lagayenge. Anyway, I am not in temple and center, dhoti kurta nahi pehenenge. So then there is a symptom of a neophyte, not very advanced devotee. Real devotee means devotee all the time. Narayana para sarve na kudaschana bhibhyati swarga apavarga narkeshu apitulyartha darshanam. So those are Narayana para, those are devotees, actual devotees. Swarga apavarga narkeshu. For them, wherever you put them, they are the same. Their practice also is the same. There was once a pastime where, one devotee was saying that devotees even want to go to hellish planets for preaching. They will open one ISKCON center or Gita Life center in hell. And there will be morning program in the hell. And we will make all the sinful people in the hellish planets suffering, dance. They will be in ecstasy. I don't know what will be prasadam there, but something will be. So, point is that devotee means, so my request is that when you are coming for these gatherings and even in your day-to-day Generally, our principle was, that when you are in center or temple, you wear dhoti kurta tilak, and when you go to office, that time you can rub your tilak or put water tilak, and then in karmi dress you can go. But currently work from home only is going on. So if you are at home only, please try to wear dhoti kurta. Those of you have, if possible, it will be very nice. You will feel very Krishna conscious, and put tilak at least every day morning, and especially whenever you are coming for any devotee gathering, always put tilak. And uh, even during your company works also, in case you have meetings where you have to show your face, then you can wipe off your tilak. But generally I've seen devotees doing their company meetings with camera off only. Is it not? Many times I've seen working devotees, they just audio conversation happens, camera is off, so keep wearing dhoti kurta. What is the problem? Like that. So the whole essence is that please try to apply and live Krishna consciousness. Don't just hear and leave it. Live it. Don't leave it, live it. Okay, so now we'll move ahead with our Bhagavatam study circle. So we are discussing first canto, 16th chapter. How Parikshit received the age of Kali. Correct? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavadi uttama shloker bhaktir bhavadi neshti krishnaya vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gova Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So, how many shlokas we have covered from this chapter? I believe we have covered the first theme, first and second theme we have covered. What were the first and second themes? The first theme was functions of Brahmanical Advisory Council for giving advice to king. And the second theme was root cause of all mismanagement and quarrel. So we have covered till text number 4. Is it not? So now we will move ahead with text number 5. Okay. So yeah. So those who have Bhagavatam with you, please open it. 1.16.5. And I'm also sharing on the screen for you to see. It's coming. Shaunaka vacha kasya heto nijagraha kalim digvijaye nipaha nirdeva chihna driks shudra Kaushaugam yapadahanat tatkathayatam mahabhaga yadi Krishna kathashrayam. Arbol, somebody can read translation?
Shaunaka inquired, why did Maharaj Parikshit simply punish him, since he was lowest of the Shudras, having dressed as a king and having stuck a cow on leg. Please describe all these incidents if they relate to the topics of Krishna.
Yeah.
Purport.
So just before we go into Parpat, so this is now Suta Goswami just told two verses to the Shaunakadi rishis in the previous. If you see the verses, that he was narrating once when Maharaj Parikshit was on his way to conquer the world, he saw the master of Kali Yuga. So Kaliraj was dressed like who the Yuvardhana Shudra is dressed like a king, and he was beating the leg of a cow. So Parikshit Maharaj caught him and he deals official punishment. So now what is happening? Shaunakadi rishis, they were very surprised that why did Maharaj Parikshit only punished Kali? Why did Maharaj Parikshit not uh, killed Kali immediately on the spot? Because he was hurting a cow, which is a very great sinful act, especially in the Vedic time. So that's what Prabhupada write in the Purport, and then we'll discuss. So please read the Purport.
Shonaka and the rishis were astonished to hear that the pious Maharaj Parikshit simply punished the culprit and did not kill him. This suggests that a pious king like Maharaj Parikshit should have at once killed an offender who wanted to cheat the public by dressing like a king and at the same time daring to insult the purest of the animals, a cow. The rishis in those days, however, could not even imagine that in the advanced days of the age of Kali, the lowest of the Shudras will be elected as administrators and will open organized slaughterhouses for killing cows. Anyway, although hearing about Shudraka, who was a cheat and insulter of a cow, was not very interesting to the great rishis, they nevertheless wanted to hear about it to see if the event had any connection with Lord Krishna. They were simply interested in the topics of Lord Krishna. For anything that is doubted with the narration of Krishna is worth hearing. There are many topics in the Bhagavatam about sociology, politics, economics, cultural affairs, etc. But all of them are in relation with Krishna, and therefore all of them are worth hearing. Krishna is the purifying ingredient in all matters, regardless of what they are. In the mundane world, everything is impure due to its being a product of three mundane qualities. The purifying agent, however, is Krishna.
Purifying agent is Lord Krishna. Okay. One more shloka we will see, and then we will discuss on this. Text number 6. अथावास्या पदां भोजा मकरन्दालिहां सदां किमन्ये रसदालापे आयुषो यदसद्व्ययाः. Yeah, translation. Somebody else can read.
The devotees of the Lord are accustomed to licking up the honey available from the lotus feet of the Lord. What is the use of topics which simply waste one's valuable life?
Hmm. Arpan?
Lord Krishna and his devotees are both on the transcendental plane. Therefore, the topics of the Lord Krishna and of his pure devotees are equally good. The battle of Kurukshetra is full of politics and diplomacy, but because the topics are related with Lord Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita is therefore adored all over the world. There is no need to eradicate politics, economics, sociology, etc., which are mundane to the mundaners. To a pure devotee who is actually related with the Lord, such mundane things are transcendental if dwelled with the Lord or with his pure devotees. We have heard and talked about the activities of the Pandavas, and we now are dealing with the topics of Maharaj Parikshit. But because all these topics are related to the Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna, they are all transcendental, and the pure devotees and the pure devotees have interest in hearing them. We
Great.
have sorry, and pure devotee have great interest in hearing them. We have already discussed this matter in connection with the prayers of Bhishma Deva. Our duration of life is not very long, and and there is no certainty of when we shall be ordered to leave everything for the next stage. That thus it is our duty to see that not a moment of our life is wasted in topics which are not related with Lord Krishna. Any topic, however pleasant, is not worth hearing if it is devoid of its relation to Krishna. The spiritual planet Golaka Vrindavan, the eternal abode of Lord Krishna, is shaped like the whole of a lotus flower. Even when the Lord descends to any one of the mundane planets, he does so by manifesting his own abode as it is. Thus his feet remain always on the same big wall of the lotus flower. His feet are also as beautiful as the lotus flower. Therefore, it is said that Lord Krishna has lotus feet.
Yeah. Continue. Last paragraph.
A living being, a living being is eternal by constitution. He is so he is, so to speak, in the whirlpool of birth and death due to his contact with material energy. Freed from such material energy, a living entity is liberated and is eligible to return home back to Godhead. Those who want to live forever without changing their material bodies should not waste valuable time with topics other than those relating to Lord Krishna and his devotees.
Yeah. Correct. Read this highlighted words again too.
Those who want to live forever without changing their material bodies should not waste valuable time with topics other than those relating to Lord Krishna and his devotees.
Yeah. Very nice. So these two verses which we just now saw, both these verses talks about one common theme, which is that devotees are actually uninterested in hearing anything which is not related to Krishna. Hmm? Or they are not interested in Prajalpa, or they are not interested in hearing about some Shudraka's horrible activities. So this is the theme for this both the verses. So we will now see some important things from these verses, from the purport of these verses. So one of the important things which Prabhupada is highlighting here was uh, that how one of the hallmarks of a devotee is that if he is really advancing and progressing in Krishna consciousness, his tendency for talking anything unrelated to Krishna will gradually go down. He cannot tolerate or he cannot bear to speak anything other than Krishna. As soon as somebody starts any discussion other than which is not related to Krishna, directly or indirectly, a devotee immediately feels like his time is going waste. So it comes in the category of prajalpa. So now how this principle is related here, you see, here Sutta Goswami was suddenly explaining Shaunakadi rishis about uh, that there was one Shudra and he was trying to kill a cow and hurt a cow, like that he was trying to tell. So uh, so suddenly the Shaunakadi rishis, they were thinking, अरे ये इतना अच्छा भागवतम बता रहे थे अभी तक, पिछले 15 चैप्टर आपने इतना सुंदर भागवतम बताया, you told us so nice भागवतम, suddenly you are started telling about some Shudra, and that also who is dressed in the dress of a king and is trying to hurt a cow. We have not come here to hear about a Shudra, we have come here to hear about Krishna. Why suddenly you are telling us about a Shudra? So they got a doubt. Ki this Sudha Goswami, Are, is it that the Bhagavatam class got over and he started doing some prajalpa now? So they are saying that, sir, why are you telling us about this Shudra hurting a cow? We don't want to hear it. But if there is some Krishna Katha in this subject, this means directly or indirectly, if this subject is connected to Krishna, then only you tell us. So if you see the Sanskrit also of this verse, 15th verse, if you see the Sanskrit, the last line, if you pay attention, the last line says, last two lines, Tat Kathayatam Mahabhaga Yadi Krishna Kathashrayam. So Tat Kathayam, O Mahabhaga, O Sudha Goswami, who is a great soul, Mahabhaga, Tat Kathayam, you can tell us all these stories, Yadi Krishna Kathashrayam, only if it is related to Krishna, then only you tell us. Otherwise, we are not interested in hearing about, some Shudra's activities, what he did or he did. Huh? So this goes to show a very important principle that, see, in the material world, people delight a lot in talking about either themselves or talking about their friends or relatives or loved ones, what they did, he did or she did. But this kind of talks are not worth hearing, because all these talks are what? All these talks are horrible activities of low class people, or people's talk are only centered around eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Like, suppose a friend has returned from America, then he meets his friend in India, and to his friends he describes what all he did in America. I went to this there and in America, this this restaurant is the most famous, so I ate in this restaurant, and then I stayed in this hotel, and I went to this amusement park, and I traveled in Lamborghini, or all this. So generally, people tell this only, na. We did all these things. So, but if you see, he's basically describing his activities of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. How I ate and how I passed in stool in America. That's all he's describing. You know, in India, I generally passed stool only in Indian toilets, but in America there were Western toilets, more Western than Indian Western toilets. There's no tap also for washing. There's only tissue paper. So that's what they describe. That's what they say. So the roads are so big, and the water. First of all, water is very rarely found in the American toilets. But in case water is there, it comes out like a foam. Ha! So these are the things people describe, and what I ate, and what I saw, and what I did, and that's what people describe. So this kind of Shudrakas activities, and devotee is not interested in hearing. In the Nectar of Instruction, verse number 2, Rupa Goswami outlines 6 principles which are detrimental to devotion service. Can anybody quote that verse? Who can quote that verse? 6 principles which are detrimental to devotion service. NOI verse 2.
Atyara viharasya.
Atyahara? Yes, viharasya. So the homework. NOI verse 2. Atyahara prayashascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha lolyamscha shadbir bhakti vinashyati. So out of the 6 items, prajalpa is one of the items which is very detrimental to devotional service. It destroys our bhakti. All the good credits goes away by the loose use of tongue. Like that. So that's how devotees should be alert that they should keep their talks Krishna centered. So Prajalpa actually is a very wide topic. Sometime later we will discuss more detail about the categories of Prajalpa and how Prajalpa starts and where it ends. Whole science of Prajalpa is there, but in general, we should avoid talks about mundane things like people talk about Bollywood, Hollywood, which actor is getting married to which actress, and what is happening in the Bollywood. And then people are very much talk about political affairs, which party is coming to power, which party is opposition, like that. And people talk about cricket or football or volleyball or whichever sport they like, and people talk about, which is the latest movie coming up, like that. Or people keep busy talking about mundane, worldly family affairs without relating it to Krishna, like that. So that is actually considered a waste of time. Prabhupada gives the example of a frog. That a frog in the middle of the night, the frog has a habit of always croaking. A toad. Frog is also known as toad. And a toad keeps toading. Whole night he keeps speaking like that. And eventually what happens? The toad thinks that by my speaking I'm attracting many people. What a sweet singer I am, and especially the she toad who is just sitting on the other leaf on the side. She is also giving poses, listening to my sweet toading, and she's saying, But what happens? Somebody else get attracted by his toading. Who? Snake. Then the snake comes from behind and catch the toad and eat it. So Prabhupada gives an example that people who have a habit of, wasting their valuable time in speaking many so-called mundane things of this world, they are like compared to frog, who are just like a frog is toading and croaking a lot, but you don't know that the snake is coming from the behind. Similarly, people waste their valuable time in speaking topics unrelated to Krishna, and the snake of time is just behind them, going to eat them very soon. Their life is going away. Is it not? Like that. So that's why devotees are very careful, as Prabhupada wrote in that purport of verse number 6, the last 3 lines which you highlighted. The devotees must be very careful utilizing their every moment in speaking things related to Krishna. Like that. Now, from the 15th purport, there are very important statements which Prabhupada told. So I will show you the statements, and then for each statement we will discuss something very important is there. Yeah, so I'm again sharing the So this is the purport of the verse 5. See here Prabhupada is saying, the rishis in those days could not even imagine that in the advanced days of Kali Yuga, the lowest of the Shudras will be elected as administrators and will open organized slaughterhouses for killing cows. So in those days, nobody could even imagine that, they were surprised somebody only hitting a leg of a cow. If they would have been today, the sages, I don't know, they might have got unconscious only seeing organized slaughterhouses for killing the cows. So they were not interested in hearing about a Shudraka's activity who is hurting a cow. Yeah. Now, they were saying that, Prabhupada is writing that the rishis were interested in hearing if it was related to Krishna. So now, how does Krishna element makes a topic different? Somebody may ask this question, na? Prabhuji, how it's possible, simply by adding Krishna, how does the quality of that subject changes? Because Prabhupada is saying that Bhagavatam also speaks about sociology, politics, economics and cultural affairs, but in relation to Krishna. So what is that in Krishna which makes it which changes the whole quality, which actually changes the whole result? The same thing in relation to Krishna gives a different result, and the same thing without relation to Krishna gives a different result. What is that? The thing is that, in the material world, so any topic unrelated to Krishna is actually tainted by the 3 gunas, Sattva guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. And that is why when we discuss it without relating to Krishna, we become bound by the modes. And the modes influence us, and then our activities and our behavior also become according to the modes, the topic which we are discussing in. But when Krishna factor is added to that, the topic becomes transcendental. Then we may hear it, we may learn some good lessons, but our core nature, our core behavior will not be affected by the modes, because Krishna element is there. That's why. So Prabhupada is saying that anything dovetailed with the narrations of Krishna become worth hearing. So it requires actually a great art to dovetail everything in Krishna consciousness. It's not very easy also how to dovetail our every activity we do in Krishna consciousness, especially the topics in relation to Krishna. So That's why it is very much recommended to devotees that as much as possible they should discuss direct Krishna Katha. As much as possible they should discuss direct Krishna Katha. Where is direct Krishna Katha given? Direct Krishna Katha is given in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So as much as possible, devotees should try to read it, discuss it, direct Krishna Katha. But because we are living in a material world and we have certain duties and we have to deal with this world, it may be required that we may have to sometimes deal with some other subjects also. And in order to better deal with them, we need to refer them in the scriptures, in the Shastras. So that is all right. But then we should also deal with these other subjects like sociology, politics, economics, while keeping Krishna in the center or while keeping Krishna in the focus, doubting in the Krishna. But while doubting, we should be very careful because many times it so happens that a dove, it flies away and only the tail remains. Which means while discussing a particular topic in relation to Krishna, it starts with that it is for Krishna, relation to Krishna, but then Krishna only goes away, then the topic only remains very, very mundane level. Like that. So that's why. Now, how we will know that what we are discussing, whether it is doubted in Krishna or not, really? How we will know? What is the proof? The proof is that the end result of that conversation, the end result of the topic, the end result of hearing or speaking that topic should lead to the increase of our Krishna consciousness. It should result into increase of our faith in Krishna. It should result into increase in our commitment to service to Krishna. It should result in our increase in the desire to render service to Krishna. If that is the result happening, then it is a proof that we have actually doubted our discussion in Krishna. But after having a lot of discussion, suppose we figure out a wrong message, Krishna consciousness decreased instead of increasing, our mind became more agitated. This means that we have actually not doubted in Krishna. We are actually not hearing in relation to Krishna, like that. So the end result has to be seen. That is the proof whether we have really doubted the narration with Krishna or not. Like here, when they will hear the pastime of Parikshit Maharaj punishing Kali, and eventually what was the end result of this whole discussion? The end result of this discussion is that Parikshit Maharaj is going to get a curse and Shukdev Goswami is going to come and going to speak Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam is coming out as the end result of this conversation of Parikshit Maharaj punishing Kali. And that is why this narration is worth hearing. Because the end result is Krishna Katha, Srimad Bhagavatam is going to come out. So that has to be seen actually. Because Prabhupada is saying that Krishna is a purifying agent. What kind of purifying agent? Like the example is given. This detergent powder we purchase, na? Washing powder Nirma, Doodh si Safedi. Like this, they advertise a long back issues in Doordarshan. So washing powder Nirma, nowadays many other washing powder has come. Surf Excel, Ariel. In ashram we use Patanjali. But any washing powder you see, if you open the washing powder packet, you will find two things inside. The majority of the content in the washing powder you will find is the white powder or the blue powder, which is the maximum weight. And then in the powder you will also find small granules, orange color, red color, blue color, green color. You have seen small granules in the washing powder? I don't know, those of you are at home, since many days you might have not washed your clothes. Maybe your mother is washing, that's why you're not seeing the washing powder now. When you are in the center, you are washing, that's why you are seeing. Very bad habit. You are increasing the load of your parents by not washing your clothes. Come on, you are a young man. Wash your clothes. So in case you have to get married tomorrow, your partner will be very happy. Arey, my Prabhu, he washes his own clothes only. Such a nice Prabhu I have. Anyways, so when you wash clothes, in the powder you see two things. What are two things? the powder, white or blue powder, same color, and many small granules. So you ask any industry person who produce this washing powder, they say actual cleaning process is done actually by the granules actually. They are actually the cleaning agent. Then you ask, sir, what is that powder then all about? वो तो बस थोड़ा झाग लाने के लिए और थोड़ा वजन बढ़ाने के लिए. That is only to bring some, foam, to give a feeling of, okay, some foam is there, Suppose you put washing powder and you mix it, but foam is only not coming, then you will be surprised. Is it really washing powder? So that powder is only for bringing some foam and, some smell, some fragrance. Like nowadays, many washing powder comes with many fragrance, na? Jasmine flower, lemon, Nibu ki shakti, or, phool ki shakti, or many flower fragrance. So just to give some foam fragrance and and this kind of things, powder is there. But the actual cleaning agent which cleans the cloth is the granules. Similarly, even in the Vedic literatures, there may be many topics. Vedic literature discuss about sociology, this. But the main content, the main thing which is a purifying agent in all this discussion is Krishna and Krishna Katha. Like Mahabharata is a very huge book. So many verses are there, lakhs of verses are there. But it's all about politics and family fight and all this thing. But why we discuss Mahabharata? Because in the Mahabharata there is Bhagavad Gita, which is actually the purifying agent. Because it is spoken by Krishna himself. And it's about Krishna, it's about transcendence. So that's what makes Mahabharata. So in Mahabharata, it is like a washing powder, where suppose it is a 1 kg packet. So 990 grams is only powder, only 10 grams is granules in the form of Gita. Whereas when we talk about Srimad Bhagavatam is 1 kg packet, where 900 grams is granules only. 900 grams is granules, and only 10% here and there, some other subjects which are also in relation to Krishna. Like that. So, Bhagavatam is a very powerful cleaning agent. That's why we recommend devotees to read Srimad Bhagavatam and not Mahabharata. Mahabharata is not meant for devotees to be read. Sometimes devotees can read for their basic knowledge or answering some questions. But that is not our main literature. Our main literature is Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Like that. So, that's the point. Krishna is the purifying agent. Now, you see, Prabhu, one very important point is going to come now. That Prabhupada is saying that Bhagavatam also talks about sociology, politics, economic, cultural affairs, etc. Many things. Now, for any devotee in this world to make progress in Krishna consciousness, the faith on the scriptures is a very important factor to make progress in spiritual life. If we don't have faith on the Vedic scriptures, then it is like, our progress will be very slow. And it is like committing the fourth offense against the holy name. What is the fourth offense against the holy name? The fourth offense against the holy name is to blaspheme the Vedic literatures, all literatures in pursuance of the Vedic version. So, blaspheming Vedic literatures not only means directly blaspheming, it also means neglecting them or not having full conviction. That's why it's aparadh. So, to blaspheme, when somebody will blaspheme when somebody don't have faith or what the scriptures are saying is true or not. Like that. So that's why you see, when we approach any Vedic literature, especially literature like Bhagavatam, in all the Vedic literatures, there are two kind of subjects which are taught. Always remember this. One subject is a core subject, and there are other subjects which contains many peripheral details. Many peripheral details. So, what is the core subject or the core teaching of any scripture or the entire Vedic scripture? What is the core teachings? The entire Vedic scripture, the core teachings are only three. What are they? What are only the three teachings of the whole purpose of the Vedic literature, the core, the essential, the core purpose of the entire Vedic scriptures is only three, which is Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan. Sambandha means how to establish a relationship with the Supreme Lord. Abhideya means how to act in that relationship. And Prayojana means the ultimate result of that activities, which means love of God. So, the entire Vedic scriptures is not talking about anything else but just these three things. It's teaching us how to establish a relationship with Krishna, Sambandha Gyan, how to act in relationship, Abhideya Gyan, and then attainment of the ultimate perfection, Prayojana, love of God. So, it may be any scripture, it only the core teachings of the scriptures is these three only. It is the ultimate thing, it is the core thing, it is the main purpose of the scriptures. Now, for helping, for aiding, for supporting these core principles, scriptures may talk about many peripheral details. So, now what happens with a ordinary person when he starts reading scriptures, he can very easily get diverted from the core teachings and he may become very bogged up with the peripheral details. For example, even in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam talks about Vedic cosmology within the fifth canto. Srimad Bhagavatam talks about the embryology in the third canto. Srimad Bhagavatam talks about, Vedic society, position of women in the Vedic times, the marriage systems in the Vedic times. Many things Bhagavatam talks about, which are like many peripheral details. And if we are not careful to study these peripheral details in relation with the core details of Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana, then we may get diverted to many peripheral or side details, forgetting the core one. So that's why how we will be able to dovetail any topic related to Krishna when we will remember the core purpose of the scriptures, which is Sambandha Gyan, Abhideya Gyan, and Prayojan. Sambandha means how to establish my relationship with Krishna, how this thing is related to Krishna. Abhideya means what are the activities. For example, Sambandha means Jivir Swarupo hai Krishna Nityadas, I am Krishna's eternal servant. Then what are the activities the servant is supposed to do? The activities are chanting and hearing, Shravanam and Kirtanam. And what is the ultimate fruit? Prayojana, love of God. So these are the things. You see, there are many devotees, or when people come to Krishna consciousness and start studying about scriptures or learning about scriptures, many times people face a challenge in developing faith on the scriptures. So their lack of faith is basically because there are many peripheral details might have told in the scriptures which is not fitting into their head. Like people coming from scientific backgrounds or educated backgrounds, they may not be able to immediately accept what the scriptures are saying. For example, scriptures are talking about the distance between earth and the moon, earth and the sun, and the scriptures are talking about life beyond death, and the scriptures are talking about many things like that. So people coming from educated background, scientific background, sometimes what happens to them is they accept those details from the scriptures which are matching with their scientific research. But when there are details in the scriptures which don't match with their scientific research, then they face a challenge of faith. And because they face a challenge of faith, so their faith on the core teachings of the scriptures also, which is Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana, also gets disturbed. So in this way, there is an interconnection between the core teachings and the peripheral teachings. So the Vedic scripture talks about many peripheral things. But what happens to an educated mind or a modern mind or a contemplative intelligent mind, when he is not able to understand certain peripheral details given in the Vedic scriptures, which the modern science may not be able to explain, then he start doubting even on the core teachings of the scriptures also. He starts saying, oh, how is this possible? How this can be possible? Then we find that people sometimes not getting sufficient, satisfactory answer in peripheral details, then they stop their chanting also, they stop association also. So that is why one of the very, very important homework to be done by every practicing devotee is to very seriously and strenuously clarify their doubts which they have on the Vedic scriptures, not only on the core teachings but even on the peripheral details also. Like you may have some doubts and questions related to science and spirituality, you may have some questions related to application of Vedic knowledge in the modern times. So it is very, very important that we should not keep these doubts with ourselves. We should honestly and honestly discuss and clarify these doubts as soon as possible, because although these doubts may remain to the peripheral details with our other, which are not related to core teachings of the scriptures, but if this doubt remains in the heart, it will also affect your core practice of chanting and hearing, like that. So one very important point is that we should clarify. Like if you like in the beginning of my class, I told you about applying tilak, and if you feel why Prabhuji is telling about applying tilak, why to apply tilak? So if you have doubt about applying tilak, then ask question, Prabhuji, why to apply tilak? What is the importance of applying tilak? What is the importance of practicing Vaishnava etiquettes? So we should not remain dull in a spiritual life. We should not remain like a dull donkey in spiritual life. We should remain active. We should be actively taking part, actively learning, actively trying to apply Krishna conscious principles, clarifying our doubt, moving ahead. Otherwise, if we remain like a dull donkey, and although there are doubts, but we are not clarifying them, then we will never grow in spiritual life. And the doubts will always remain in the heart, hidden. And even after 10, 15 years, you will find yourselves like that only, without any improvement. So that's why all the peripheral details and core Vedic scriptures are different, but they are both interlinked, and that's why we should clarify the doubts in the peripheral details also, in order to remain fixed in our core practices of Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojana. Another important thing is, suppose you are not able to get the answer to your question immediately of some peripheral detail, then understand that okay, these are some peripheral details, some side details, but the core teaching is that Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojana. So let me not stop my core practices of Krishna consciousness just because currently I am not able to get an answer for some peripheral details. Maybe in the future, as time progresses, I may understand, but let me continue with the core practices. That is very, very important. Like that. So understand the scriptures talks about the core and the peripheral. The core are Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojana. And we need to clarify our doubts in both core and peripheral details, because both are interlinked, like that. Now, another very, very important thing in relation to scriptures, because here the talk is all going about scriptures and topics related to Krishna. So you see, devotees, there is something called as pursuit of knowledge, and then there is purpose of knowledge. So pursuit of knowledge versus purpose of knowledge. Now, what is the meaning of pursuit of knowledge? So everybody in this world is very inquisitive to want to know more and more, increase their knowledge base. Even in Krishna consciousness, we want to increase our knowledge, is it not? So that is called pursuit of knowledge. I want to pursue knowledge. Like many of you pursue degrees, pursuing MBA, pursuing BTech, MTech, similarly pursuing knowledge. But the pursuit of knowledge is actually to attain the purpose of knowledge. If you don't have the clarity about the purpose of knowledge, then your pursuit of knowledge is useless and worthless. This means you may be endeavoring to read Gita, Bhagavatam, and many other literatures, but if your purpose, why you are reading, is not clear and you don't have a fixed goal, then that pursuit of knowledge is useless. So pursuit of knowledge has to be there together with the purpose of knowledge. So there is one very beautiful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter number 5, text number I believe 22. Yeah, text number 22, 1.5.22. In this verse, very beautifully, Srila Prabhupada writes about the purpose of knowledge, any kind of knowledge, all kind of knowledge. What is the purpose? So you can see on the screen this verse. Idam hi pumsas tapasa shrutasya va swistasya suktasya cha buddhi dattayo अविच्युतो अर्थ कवि भी निरूपितो यदुत्तम श्लोक गुणानुवर्णनम. So the shloka is saying, as you will see here, yeah, somebody can read the translation, please. Somebody who has not read till now.
Learned circles.
Yeah.
Learned circles have positively concluded that the infallible purpose of the advancement of knowledge, namely austerities, study of the Vedas, sacrifice, chanting of hymns and charity, culminates in the transcendental descriptions of the Lord, who is defined in choice poetry.
So you see, the learned circles means learned people, they have concluded that the purpose, the infallible purpose of the advancement of knowledge. This means if you are really advancement in knowledge, first of all, we have to understand what is the advancement knowledge. According to modern people, advancement knowledge means making big buildings, big IT parks, big malls, flying in planes, going to America. First of all, Prabhu's make it very clear that that is not considered advancement in knowledge only, first of all. That is Jada Vidya, Shilpa Vidya. If somebody is really advancing in knowledge, then the symptoms are that a person will become more austere, person will study the Vedas, person will do sacrifices, yajna, person will chant the hymns, so and he will give charity. So first of all, these are the items of advancement of knowledge. So for what is knowledge and what is not knowledge, for that you can refer Bhagavad Gita 13.8 to 12. Amanitvam, madambitvam, ahimsa, shanti marjavam, acharo, prasanna, you have learned. This is not at all advancement in knowledge. That is avidya only. First of all, make that thing very clear. And then after that thing is very clear, then when somebody really comes to the advancement of knowledge, which means he become austere, he do yajna, he chants, he do charity, he do austerities, all these things, then the real purpose of all these items also is what? It culminates in the transcendental descriptions of the Lord. This means Krishna Katha. So Krishna Katha is the culmination of all the advancement of knowledge. The purpose of knowledge is to develop love for Krishna through discussing about him. That is the purpose. So when we are pursuing any knowledge, material knowledge, spiritual knowledge, any kind of knowledge, the purpose is this. The ultimate end of this knowledge is this, that we get affinity for hearing about Krishna. We develop love for Krishna. That is the purpose of knowledge. Now you see purport, how Prabhupada writes so nicely. I've highlighted some yellow portions also, which are very important. Yeah, somebody can read, somebody else.
Human intellect is developed for advancement of learning in art, science, philosophy, physics, chemistry, psychology, economics, politics, etc. By culture of such knowledge, the human society can attain perfection of life.
Yeah. So you see, Prabhupada is saying that human beings have got intelligence, and this intelligence, what we are supposed to do? We are supposed to learn arts, science, philosophy, physics, chemistry. So Prabhupada is including everything. And because human beings are higher than animals, they have a thinking power, higher consciousness. So when they culture such knowledge, then they can attain the perfection of life. But then, what is perfection? That Prabhupada will tell from here. Yes, Prabhu, go ahead.
This perfection of life culminates in the realization of the Supreme Being Vishnu. The Shruti therefore directs that those who are actually advanced in learning should aspire for the service of Lord Vishnu.
Yeah. Those who are actually advanced in learning should aspire for service of Lord Vishnu. This means, so each of us, we can check in our own life that as I'm going in Krishna consciousness, as I'm reading more and more books, as I'm studying more and more, as I'm gaining more and more knowledge, maybe material or spiritual or whatever, is your knowledge taking you towards service to Krishna, or your knowledge is taking you away from the service of Krishna? Ask yourself. If your so-called advancement in knowledge is taking you away from the service of Krishna, this means you are not at all advancement in knowledge, because the purpose of knowledge itself is going lost. This means all your study of books, all your hearing of lectures is simply a waste of time. Shama eva hi kevalam. But if your affinity for serving Krishna is increasing, then that is actually something which is worthwhile. Hmm? Yeah, read ahead.
Unfortunately, persons who are enamored by the external beauty of Vishnu Maya do not understand that culmination of perfection or self-realization depends on Vishnu. Vishnu Maya means sense enjoyment, which is transient and miserable. Those who are entrapped by Vishnu Maya utilize advancement of knowledge for sense enjoyment.
Yeah. So those who are entrapped by Vishnu Maya, this means the Maya, those people who are in Maya, they use advancement for what?
Sense enjoyment.
For sense enjoyment. That is a different. That's a difference between devotees and materialistic people. Materialistic people, they are they are also becoming scientists, they are doing researches, they are coming with a lot of technology, and all these things they utilize for what? For sense enjoyment. Whereas devotees are also utilizing all these items of advancement of knowledge, but devotees are utilizing it for service of Krishna. Like we are also using internet, microphone, camera, but we are using it for giving Srimad Bhagavatam class or hearing, and all of you are utilizing it for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam class. So that is called real advancement of knowledge. You know the purpose of advancement of knowledge. Hmm? Utilizing everything in relation to Krishna. Whereas people who are not devotees, they utilize everything in relation to sense gratification.
Sri Narad Muni has explained that all paraphernalia of the cosmic universe is but an emanation from the Lord out of his different energies, because the Lord has set in motion by his inconceivable energy the actions and reactions of the created manifestation.
Okay, you read from here this yellow one.
When advancement of knowledge is applied in the service of the Lord, the whole process becomes absolute. The personality of Godhead and his transcendental name, fame, glory, etc. are all non-different from him. Therefore, all the sages and devotees of the Lord have recommended that the subject matter of art, science, philosophy, physics, chemistry, psychology, and all other branches of knowledge should be wholly and solely applied in the service of the Lord. Art, literature, poetry, painting, etc. may be used in glorifying the Lord. The fiction
Yeah. Okay. That is the point. So Prabhupada is saying here that when advancement of knowledge is applied in the service of the Lord, the whole process becomes absolute. So art, science, philosophy, physics, chemistry, psychology, all branches of knowledge, they should be applied in relation to Krishna. Then they will have meaning. Then they will be fulfilling the purpose for which they are created. Because all this knowledge is ultimately coming from the scriptures only. And the scriptures are breathed out by the Supreme Lord in the beginning of creation. So the scriptures are the purpose. And what is the purpose of the scriptures? To awaken the Krishna consciousness of the people, to bring them closer to Krishna. So any knowledge in your material field or spiritual field or sociology, economics, politics, the end result we should see that the pursuit of knowledge should fulfill the purpose of knowledge. Many people in this world, they go for higher studies. Many people go for higher studies. Many people, they try to study scriptures. So don't study anything in this world just for the sake of studying. Nowadays, studies have become a means of livelihood. Also, people want to do BTech, MTech, some higher studies, MS, PhD, so that they can get a job and earn. So actually, any studies for the purpose of livelihood actually not considered knowledge only. Because the activity, the end result is like animal and animalistic propensity. Na? Because animals, they eat without even studying anything. They don't do BTech, MTech, PhD, MS from any university, foreign university, and they are eating. And we are doing all the studies simply for the purpose of getting a job and eating. This means this is called as animalistic propensity only. This is not knowledge only then. So don't think that your college degrees or big degrees or American degrees, foreign degrees, if you are doing it for the purpose of just earning your livelihood, that is not counted under knowledge only, first of all. But then when a person pursue knowledge for increasing the value of human life, learning philosophy, learning, trying to understand the material nature, trying to understand how things are working in this world, benefiting others, then like scientists, they do a lot of research ultimately with the purpose of benefiting others. Obviously they end up creating more disturbance than benefit. That is the other thing. But the point is that at least the intentions in the beginning is okay, let us do some research and benefit the society. That kind of research and studies is at least considered some knowledge. And then the real knowledge of the scriptures. So any knowledge you pursue, always remember the goal is to serve Krishna, in relation to Krishna. Then the pursuit of knowledge is fulfilling the purpose of knowledge. Like that. So, as devotees, I will speak this and conclude for today. So as devotees, we should not be worried about, reading too many books. Obviously, we should read Prabhupada books every day and in the sequence which it is given to us. But we should not worry about, what is written in Mahabharata, what is written in, this Upanishad, that Upanishad, and what, they are doing, what they are doing. We should not worry about gaining too much knowledge. Sometimes people are more knowledge conscious than Krishna conscious. So devotee is not supposed to worry about gaining a lot of knowledge. We should gain only that much knowledge which is required for us to get convinced that to love Krishna and serve Krishna is the goal of life. So you acquire that much knowledge only by which you get convinced that yes, the goal of life is to love Krishna and serve Krishna. Once you have reached to that point that you are thoroughly convinced that the goal of life is to love Krishna and serve Krishna, you have already attained the perfection of knowledge. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanvan mam prapadyate. There's nothing more for you to require, for you to learn. And once you have reached to the platform of love and service to Krishna, for example, you remember the example of South Indian Brahmana? In the Srirangam temple, he was reading Bhagavad Gita, but he was illiterate. And other Brahmanas, they were criticizing him, hey, what? You don't even know how to pronounce Sanskrit shlokas of the Gita properly. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went to South Indian temple, Srirangam, and he saw this Brahmana. He saw the Brahmana is crying tears. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, my dear Brahmana, what are you reading? He told, I am reading Gita. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, but I see that you are not able to recite the verses also properly. You are not able to understand also anything. He told, yes, what I can do, I am illiterate. But because my guru has told me to read Bhagavad Gita every day, I am reading. Although I cannot understand anything, I am simply trying to follow the order of my guru. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked them that one, but if you are not able to understand anything, then why are you crying while reading Gita? Then he told, this is because, my heart is being touched by the Bhakta Vatsalyata of Krishna. That for his devotee, the Supreme Lord Krishna is becoming his own chariot driver. Krishna's chariot driver. Arjuna's chariot driver. So whenever I see this photo of Krishna driving the chariot of Arjuna, my heart becomes filled with devotion and tears comes in my eyes. So as soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately embraced that Brahmana, saying that you have actually understood Gita. You have actually took the essence of Gita, which is devotion to Krishna. Big scholars who have memorized the Bhagavad Gita, they don't know actually what is Bhagavad Gita. You know, although you are illiterate, because you have fulfilled the purpose of knowledge of Gita, which is pure devotion to Krishna, surrender to Krishna, service to Krishna, service to your Guru. So the one who has attained a love, one who has become convinced about that love and service to Krishna is the goal of life, he has already attained whole knowledge. Nothing else is required for him to know. And once you are convinced of this goal, then still you can continue to read Vedic scriptures for what? not for yourself, but for preaching to others. Because in preaching, you will come across variety of people who have not yet made Krishna as their goal of life. They have many other goals of life, and Krishna is one of the last things in their list. They want to earn money, they want to enjoy the material world, they want to go to foreign countries, they want to enjoy the association of opposite sex. So there are many other priorities in their life. Krishna's service has not become the goal of their life. So then, till the time Krishna has not become the goal of your life, you have to continue cultivating knowledge. So a point will come when you will gain sufficient knowledge that you will become convinced that there's nothing in life other than Krishna and Krishna alone. Till that time, your knowledge is not perfect. And once you are convinced of the fact that, Prabhuji, the ultimate goal of all knowledge, all purpose is Krishna's service, I am convinced about it. Prabhu, you have reached the goal. You don't require any more knowledge for yourself. But then because in your preaching, you are going to meet different kind of people from scientific background, from educated background, from corporate background, from student background, from economics background, political background, all kind of background. And therefore, to convince them that the goal of life is to serve Krishna, love Krishna, you have to present the philosophy from different angles. And for that, you are allowed to cultivate knowledge about different fields. But when you cultivate knowledge about different fields, you are conscious and you are aware that I am doing this in order to preach Krishna conscious effectively. So it is in relation to Krishna, and that is how it is allowed. That is why it is allowed. Because then the pursuit of knowledge is in relation to the purpose of knowledge, to practice and preach Krishna consciousness. Like that. So with this words I will give, I'll pause here for today. So today in brief, we discussed some few principles from these two verses, 5th and 6th, that the sages of Naimisharanya were not interested in hearing anything which is not relation to Krishna. So I told that devotees should not do prajalpa, and we quoted a verse, second verse of NOI, which where the prajalpa is quoted as one of the items detrimental to devotional service. And I just told some examples of different types of prajalpa. And then I told that what is the difference between mundane talk and Krishna conscious talk. The difference is that mundane talk is tainted by the three modes, whereas talk in relation to Krishna is beyond the three modes. It is transcendental. And then I explained you that Krishna is the purifying agent. I gave you the example of washing powder with the ingredients like the granules, which are the actual cleaning ingredients. And how we know that any conversation or talk is really in relation to Krishna. The end result should that our Krishna consciousness should increase. And then we discussed that the scriptures talks about the core teachings and the peripheral teachings. So our main emphasis should be on the core teachings, I told. At the same time, we should try to clarify our doubts in the peripheral domains also, because they both are interlinked. Because sometimes because of peripheral doubts or doubts in the peripheral subjects of the Vedas, we may leave the core teachings also. And then we also learned about that even though our peripheral doubts may not be getting cleared, we should still focus on the core teachings. And lastly, we discussed about pursuit of knowledge versus purpose of knowledge. The pursuit of knowledge should be there to attain the purpose of knowledge, which is to love and serve Krishna. Okay, so I will end here for today. Thank you very much. In case you have any questions, then please keep it with you. Today time is over. Tomorrow, before beginning our class, Bhagavatam study circle, we will first try to take any questions which you have from today's discussion, and then we'll move ahead for tomorrow. So I thank you very much for your patient hearing, and I hope that what we discussed today must have made some sense to you. Okay, so thank you very much. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nidai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Gauranga.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.